So Unit 9 covers two-dimensional objects. We're going to be talking about area and perimeter. Okay? Two-dimensional objects, what are they? They have no depth. Okay? They have a length and a width, or they have a height and a width, or they just have two things. That's what makes them two-dimensional. They have two measurements. Okay, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
They don't have three measurements. Something that has three measurements would be three-dimensional. Okay? Has a height, length, and a width, that would be three-dimensional. If it has three measurements. What if it had four measurements?
4D.
It would be 4D. Okay? There's even thought out there that there's a 5-dimensional. Okay? Don't know? We'll find out one of these days maybe. Okay? But to start off with, we're going to talk about perimeter. What does perimeter mean?
Is it the inside or the outside?
I don't know, you tell me.
Perimeter.
Why would it be important to know what perimeter is? How many of you plan on owning your own home one of these days? If you plan on, okay, so let's say you own your own home and you gotta replace your fence. Cause that happens, you gotta replace your fence. So you go to Home Depot, you go to Lowe's, and you sit down with a specialist, and they ask you how many feet are in your fencing, and you go, yeah. Well, I can promise you, this is what's gonna happen. They're gonna guesstimate, you're probably gonna overpay for what you need.
Right.
Cause you don't know any different. They're gonna get their money. Okay? So you need to know this stuff. Perimeter is the distance around an object. So if I was to take this room and find the perimeter of this room, I would measure this wall, and this wall, and that wall, and that wall, and I would add those figures together, and that would give me the perimeter around this room. Okay? So when I went to Home Depot and I ordered quarter round to put on the base of the wall, I could say I needed 122 linear feet. That would be the perimeter. And perimeter is usually one dimension, it's one measurement. Okay, that you're measuring all the way around, you're adding together, you get one number. Okay, everybody understand that? All right, today we're going to talk about area. We're going to start off with triangles today. Okay, area of a triangle. What is the area of an object? It's inside the object. So we're talking about this space that's inside here. Okay, inside the room, we're talking about the floor space. Okay, that's what we're talking about. Everybody see each one of these these little boxes? They're 12 inches by 12 inches. They're 1 foot. They're 1 foot by 1 foot. In other words, they're 1 foot square. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Now, why is it important to know that? Well, I'll tell you why. I'll give you an example that's going to happen today. I'm going to buy a shed for my backyard so I can take all my crap and put it in the shed. Okay? Because I got to buy a new truck and I want to have a place to put it in the garage. All right? I got too much crap in the garage. So I'm going to go buy a shed, put all my crap, so I'm park the truck in the garage. Okay? All right. You know, I haven't had a new truck in 15 years.
What kind of truck?
I told you.
This will be a new one. I'm going to go buy me a Chevy Trail Boss.
Yes, sir. As long as you're going
Okay.
Chevy.
Ah.
Yeah, Chevy's better.
That's beside the point. So here's what's going to happen today. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to buy one of these, and they're going to ask me how much square footage I'm looking for. And I can tell them right off the bat, well, I want 120 square foot. That's how much square footage I want. What does that mean? That means 120 of these tiles will fit on the floor. That's how much I want. 10 foot by 12 foot gives me 120 square foot. So I know what I'm talking about, don't I? So when I go buy this shed, I'm not going to get robbed because I know what I want and I know what I'm talking about. Okay? You need to understand that. In your lifetime, you're going to use this stuff. You might buy a home and need to replace the floor. If you don't know what you're talking about and you go to buy new flooring and you don't have a clue, they're going to sell you something. It might not be what you need, but they're going to sell you something. Okay? Are you going to be able to pay if I go buy a new home and the lady says, the real estate agent says, well, you can buy this home today for $80 a square foot. And the same lady says, oh, this house over here, it's prettier, but it's $100 a square foot. Which one's cheaper?
The 80.
$80 a square foot, right? That means for every square foot, every one of those, it's $80 each.
Yeah, no.
Okay, that's what that means. All right, so you need to know this stuff. So area is the distance, is the measurement of things inside. Okay, so we're gonna write that down. Area. Definition. It is the measurement of the space inside a object. Okay, that's what area is. And when we talk about triangles, there's two measurements we have to have in order to find the area of that triangle. We have to find the base, what the measurement of the base is, and what the measurement of the height is. Okay, we gotta find those two measurements in order to find the area. Okay, what is the base? Well, a base is what it sits on. A non-dotted line. A non-dotted line. A non-dotted line that a figure sits on. For instance, the base of this triangle is a non-dotted line. It would be here. That would be the butt that it sits on. Okay? This figure though, this is not the base. Why is it not the
Because
base?
it's dotted.
Because it's dotted. Okay? But this would be the base, wouldn't it? Well, coach, you don't sit on that. Yes, I know that. But it is a non-dotted line that it could sit on. So this would be the butt. So a base is what the object sits on. I'm gonna put what the triangle sits on. I'm gonna put in parentheses the butt. Okay? Non-dotted line.
I'm gonna put the booty.
Non-dotted line. The height is how tall an object is from its apex to its butt. So from the apex is the height, the top, the very top of the triangle.
The peak.
This is the apex, the peak. Very good. This is the peak. Dotted line all the way down to a base. And forms a 90-degree angle. Okay? So this is the dotted line. It comes from the peak all the way down, forms a 90-degree angle. This would be the height. And this would be the base. Okay? So it is the dotted line. And it is the height, how tall an object is. Dotted line, 90 degrees. Okay? Because believe it or not, in my 29 years of teaching, I've had students that did not understand either one of those two words. Okay? And fortunately, wow, somebody got mad. Fortunately for today, I've made it easy on you. Okay? All right, there is a formula we're going to use today, and it is the formula to find the area of triangles, and that formula is this. You take the base, you multiply it by the height, and you divide that by 2, and that gives you an answer. That's it. That's all we're going to do. We're going to multiply and divide today. That's it. And you're going to do it with the calculator. Let's do this example here. All right, we have base 4.9.
Somebody knock on the door.
Times height, 3.4, and we're going to divide that by 2. Everybody take your handy dandy calculator. Here's what I want you to do. 4.9 times 3.4 divided by 2. Take 4.9 times 3.4 divided by 2. 8.3. That area of that triangle is 8.3 yards squared. All right, what does that mean? Well, if it was feet squared, this is what this would mean. Okay, and please don't try to argue with me. Okay, because I know what I'm talking about, and it's hard for me to explain this, but this is what I mean. If this was feet squared, or inches squared, let's just say inches squared. Okay? No, let's say feet squared. Feet squared. This is what those mean. There would be 8.3 of these boxes that could fit inside this. That's what that means. Okay? And the question I got last period was this: how can a square fit in a triangle? Well, if the triangle's big enough, that square will fit in it. Right?
They act like you can't tilt
If that
it.
triangle's big enough, eight of those squares will fit in it. Okay? And it doesn't mean that you can't cut it to fit it. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you go buy a floor tile, you get to the edge of the room, and what do you gotta do to it?
Cut it.
You gotta cut it. You still gotta purchase that piece of tile in order for it to fit your floor, don't you?
Yeah.
Because you don't wanna have, oh, a beautiful floor except for that edge. You didn't finish that edge out. What's up? You understand what I'm saying? Okay? Alright? That's how you find the area of a triangle. Multiply and divide, that's it. So here we have this triangle. You take the butt, you multiply by the height, and you divide by 2. So I'm gonna take 2.6 times 4.8, and I'm gonna divide by 2. Put your phones up. Put your phone up. You not hear me say the principles right there? He comes in, sees you on the phone, guess what he's gonna do?
Take
Which
it.
one is he, Nicholson?
Yeah. All right, here we go. So, everybody take your handy dandy calculator. Type 2.6 times 4.8 divided by 2. 6.2.
Oh my God, can you chill? Dang, give us a chill.
6.2 yards squared. And understand that area is in square units. That's why I'm putting yards squared. What does that mean? That means this: two-dimensional. 2 measurements. 2-dimensional. That's what that means. If I had 3 measurements, what would it be? 3-dimensional. Okay? So what would that number be then? 3. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Okay? Anybody have any questions for me?
No.
Multiply, divide.